Hello and welcome back to the Whatnauts Captain's Log number 282. Melissa tells me I'm lagging a little bit. Our internet connection might be a little bit slow here. Hopefully there won't be too many technical difficulties and,
you're catching
and
up.
stuff like that. I'm catching up. Good. Okay. That's a good sign. Good sign indeed. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Melissa, I'm gonna kick things off because I got the Mountain Dew mystery flavor.
Oh my God, that's right.
Year. Yeah, the Mountain Dew
What
Voo-Dew
candy will it be this time?
2024. So I have to say that I when I saw this, they only had the 24 or not the 24. They had a 12 pack of the cans, but they did not have the like single bottles where I found it. So I went ahead and I bought the 12 pack, and I've already had a couple of these, but I obviously still don't know what the flavor is. So I'll be sipping on this one, and I'll plant some seeds and ideas, so to speak, in our minds. So hopefully at the end of the month when they announce it, we'll be like, hey, we were close, or we were so wrong.
So the last 2 years, they've just been sort of an anonymous fruity candy or a branded fruity candy, the two kinds.
Yes.
Mountain Dew, Voo-Dew, flavors. Here we go. What are...
This is looking it up. I might see if I can.
Come on, Mountain Dew fan wiki. Okay. Last year, Cherry Airheads. That one was branded. Year before, Sour Candy. Year before, Fruit Chew Candy. Year before, Fruit Candy Explosion. Year before, Candy Corn. See, it can only ever be one genre of thing. Whereas we've got the Oreo flavored Coke out right now that you said sincerely tastes like an Oreo. Which I've never seen Mountain Dew try and accomplish.
Yeah, no. I have to say I like that Mountain Dew puts out a mystery flavor for Halloween. I think that's a neat idea. However, I'm very disappointed in their flavors since they're all just some variation on sugary candy. Probably taste fruity. So when I tasted this one, it still has a sugary bent to it, but my initial thought when I took my first sip was, this might be candy corn. They may have gone back to the candy corn. I mean, it's been a number of years, right? They might be able to recycle some flavors. I'm a little more okay with that than everything being basically the same flavor, right?
Right. As often as we get a new Spider-Man or Batman, we can have another candy corn soda. I just want them to take not even a hard left turn, just a gentle left turn. Give us like a Reese's cup. You don't have to go all the way to like tuna casserole or tire or something.
Yeah, or even
just
like
a different form of candy.
And I know I mentioned this a little last year too, but even like a pumpkin spice soda might be interesting. Blood or orange, if you want to like play on like do the wordplay thing, right? Yeah. If you could do like a caramel apple, right? Just something that's more fall like. And so my first initial thought was, I think they went back to candy corn. But here's where I'm tripping myself up. I don't like candy corn. And so I haven't had it in like 2 decades, maybe more. So I don't know if I really actually know what it tastes like anymore. It's been so long that I'm like...
It is sort of like a vanilla marshmallowy flavor to it.
Yeah. And I don't think you're wrong in saying that. There's almost a baked taste to this. And so then I was like, oh, maybe it's like some kind of pumpkin pie or like a cherry pie or an apple, but it's like some kind of
toasted marshmallow.
Yeah. And that would also fit. But it's just like, I don't know candy corn enough to really nail it down and be like, That's it. That's candy corn right there. But it's
corn
not
is
bad of a soda. I don't know.
Candy corn is a food that comes at one level. I don't think I've seen anybody try and make artisanal or high-end or gourmet candy corn. You'll get a candy corn that's in a different flavor. You'll get one that's in a different flavor profile, but it's still made by Brach's or Palmer or whatever. There's no higher. It already started at the bottom. It started at the bottom and it has gone no higher.
We've hit,
I'm gonna
Brock's bottom. Right? Yeah. Candy corn haters unite.
Is there ever any clues on the cans, or are the cans a neutral party?
I don't think so. It's kind of, I mean, the cans change colors a little bit. The design changes a little bit, but not that much. So I don't know. I'm not sure.
I wish the flavor meant something. I wish that you found out it was a special flavor and that flavor was like a clue in a movie or a video game or something.
How cool would that be? Augmented reality.
Like the new Mountain Dew flavor, like
bring those back.
Or like it just tells you something about the themes
Remember
or plot
to drink
of the
your
new Halo
Ovaltine
game. Right? It never has any narrative meaning to the rest of our lives.
Yeah. It's a cookbook. No. Right? Yeah.
There's exactly no twists. I've never been shocked in the years we've been doing this by the Mountain Dew Voo-Dew flavor.
Yeah.
And I'd love to be. Mountain Dew, really screw me up over here.
And
really
like,
fuck us over, Mountain Dew, please.
That's the thing is they aren't putting out the older flavors for comparison with this one of like, oh, is this like the green apple Airhead this time? I don't know, because I don't have the cherry Airhead one that they did, so I don't know, but not bad. I like it. It tastes fine.
Okay,
tastes good. Yeah.
Well, that's the important part.
Indeed. Melissa, welcome back.
Thank you.
You just came back from a vacation to Disney World.
Yes, that's all true. Did not miss a single recording. Very neatly scheduled my trip for a Monday through Thursday.
Yeah. Now, did you take that Friday off too to like, now I'm back, I just need to be at home and realize you went back to work that day?
Yeah, I haven't been at this job that long. I don't have that much vacation time I can spend. I've only been here a couple months. I can't afford to take errant Fridays off whenever I feel like it.
Oh man, I just got told at my job that if I don't use some of my leave, I'm going to lose it. Like I get a certain amount of rollover every year, but I've already maxed. Like I have more than the maximum amount of what rolls over, so I have to use it or I lose it. So I was like, well, I don't know, I'll take like a random Wednesday off and I'll do this thing off, and yeah, so I'm in the opposite boat. I have too much. I'm like, I have all this time.
I've been there in the past,
yeah,
because my previous job was very generous with vacation time, but never paid me enough for me to afford to take a vacation. So like, why spend the day? What's that for? I'll just wander in a mall somewhere and spend money I don't have. But this is something I really wanted to do. I saved up for a while. I planned this in like March, before I completely changed career paths in life. So it was a long time coming, and it all went very smoothly. We completely escaped any hurricane weather.
Good.
If anything, it was, I wished for more clouds. That sun in Florida, that's different than Midwestern sun. Did you feel that when you went to Tampa a couple weeks ago?
For sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it's not the heat. It's the sun specifically. I think being just that much closer to the equator, the sun is sharper. Yeah. It's a higher definition sun down there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
I went to the park with cute mini ears and I had to take them off and go into the gift shop and buy a baseball hat. halfway through the day just to get some sun off my face.
Yeah.
And I never wear hats. Never. I had to change who I was because Florida was so sunny.
Melissa has now entered her hat era.
With one hat, dad hat with a little Mickey Mouse embroidered on it.
Gotta start somewhere.
Well, we had a terrific time.
Yeah.
We just did Epcot. It was just me and my mom. I wanted to take my mom because the one time I've been to Disney World was a college trip with a friend. And the one time my mom has been to Disney World, she took my older brother in like 1980. When it was just Magic Kingdom. They hadn't even built Epcot.
Yeah. Okay.
So I wanted to show it to her. And Epcot's my favorite of all the parks down there because it's the dorkiest.
Sure.
Because it's all like science and culture and learning and edutainment rides. Like one of my favorite rides that we did is you go on a little boat through a literal greenhouse that they have, and you just see how they grow vegetables.
Yeah. The world is amazing, kids. Look at this. A vegetable.
They grow them like they have aquaponics and hydroponics, and they grow them vertically, and they grow them in weird shapes. And it's the most exciting kind of growing vegetables that you can find. And there are a couple animatronics you see also.
That's cool. It's cool.
And it's more atmosphere and just walking around and shopping and dining and exhibits and less thrill rides, but there still are thrill rides.
Sure. Yeah.
I went on the new Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster, Cosmic Rewind.
How was that?
You have to join a virtual queue for it. Like there's not a standby line. So you have to hit it at like 7 a.m. Log into the app, get on the virtual queue.
Interesting.
And you have a second chance at 1 p.m. And if you don't get into either of those, you have to pay like, I don't know, $15-$20 to get like an individual pass to get on it. And I got very lucky and immediately pulled boarding group 3.
That's awesome.
So as soon as we got in the park, we have to dash across the campus and get to Cosmic Rewind. A wonderful time. They have 6 different random songs that they'll play. We got Conga by Gloria Estefan.
Cool.
Nice Florida connection there.
Yeah.
We did Soarin', which we did those 2 back to back. And I think that was too much on my mom, but otherwise she was a real trooper. Had a great time.
Is your mom a roller coaster fan at all?
No. She's a fan of everything and nothing.
Okay.
She's just happy to be anywhere.
I gotcha.
But has very few specific personal interests.
Right. Like might go on it with you, but it's not like, oh, we need to hit these 3 rides. I planned it out. Here we go. We go there first.
It was the Food and Wine Festival, the Epcot Food and Wine Festival with all of these little booths. And all she wanted all day was to go to Germany and get this like special mac and cheese called a Schinkennudeln.
Okay. Yeah.
She loved that. You know, she doesn't have much of an appetite at her age, but she ate that whole thing by herself.
Sounds like something Dr. Doofenshmirtz would make or have in his backstory.
She loved the Moana attraction, which is not a ride. It is a walk-through attraction where you play with water. Like there's different water exhibits. Like there's little streams and you run your hand through them and each one plays a note like it's a water guitar.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And you like raise your hand up and the water like follows your hand, or you move a certain way and it follows you. Like everything Moana is doing with the water in the movie, they tried to recreate in real life.
That's
and
cool.
It is really magical. And like there's a Tefiti, the goddess you see at the end of the movie. They built a giant version of her. It's like 15 feet tall.
That's awesome.
It's really beautiful.
Cool. What was so you already mentioned the mac and cheese. I was just about to ask you about food. What was some of the like really delicious or impressive food that you ate there?
My favorite savory food was the Hawaii food booth had like a Spam and rice bowl that really hit
Oh,
the
yeah.
spot.
Spam, eggs, and
And
rice. Classic.
exactly.
Yeah.
Hawaiian staples. And there's an ice cream parlor in the France Pavilion that serves a brioche bun, almost like a bun you get a burger on or a breakfast sandwich or anything, just your standard brioche bun. And they'll put a scoop of ice cream in the middle and then press it in this special iron that will like seal the edges. So when you take it out, it is the steamed, hot, soft, buttery brioche bread, and you bite into it, and there's perfectly cold ice cream in the middle.
Wow.
It is everything.
That's
sounds
cool.
like it's such a sensory experience. I bit into it and just cackled. So good.
That's awesome.
And in Disney Springs, which is the shopping and dining district outside of the parks, we went to, this was one of my top goals in the entire trip. We went to Gideon's Bakehouse, which is a bakery that's themed like an old occult bookstore. And there's all these portraits on the walls. They look just like this. They look like if Tim Burton designed Funko Pop characters.
Yeah, you're holding up like a little card here that has like a almost Dracula vampire looking character.
A Nosferatu, a little cutie Nosferatu. This place is so popular that they will also form like a virtual queue because a standby line is just untenable. But we went there like first thing in the morning. And they open at 10. We got there at like 10:20 with the bus schedule.
Nice.
And we stood in line for maybe like 10 or 15 minutes before we got in there. Because it already is a line. It's like one of the hottest things you can do there. Because they do these cookies that are like this big. I'm holding my hands up. These things are like they're like as big around as a softball and like half as thick. They're monster cookies.
Yeah, when you first held your hands up, it looks like you were making binoculars on your
whole
eyes.
Cyclops visor.
Right?
What if Cyclops' visor was a cookie and you could eat that?
Cyclops
That's
or
what
cake?
it is.
Cookie or cake?
It's those dimensions.
That's awesome.
And they have peanut butter cold brew. They have a variety of cold brews, but peanut butter was the one I was excited for.
Yeah.
That was just wonderful. A delight to be in the store. It's all spooky. They've got these like bookshelves that are so like bent and like curled over. Like the way parchment curls over, the physical shelves do so also.
That's awesome.
And my favorite thing I think we did the whole trip is Mom and I went to an Irish pub in Disney Springs and had, it's a very authentic place. I think like all the decor is like brought over from Ireland. They didn't just find American stuff that looked as Irish as possible. They brought it all over. My mom's side of the family's from Ireland. She's very attached to this. It was a real treat for her.
Cool.
The food's so good. The staff was so friendly. We ate this like bread pudding that's like a big soft heap of bread pudding, and they give it to you with this like buttery butterscotch sauce. It's just like eating silk. And the bread pudding's so soggy, so moist, it's almost fluffy. It's like eating a cloud. It was tremendous. And there's dancers, there's musicians. A really terrific time all around. We loved our trip.
Good.
No.
I'm glad.
Flights were nice and easy. No problem with flights. No problem with transportation. No problem with weather. The stars were in our favor for this one.
Good. Yeah, I'm glad that you guys had no issues on the plane or anything like that, but you got to enjoy your trip. That's good. Good stuff. It's been so long since I've been out there. So
you'd love it. There's so much to do out there. No matter what it is that you like, what angle you want to approach it from, you can find it there.
Yeah. The last time I was out there at the like Disney World, Epcot, Universal area, I had to have been, it must have been middle school for me, I think. Maybe early high school. I don't remember. But my parents allowed me to bring one friend. They were like, we have enough that if you want to bring a friend with you, we can pay for one more person. Who knows if they got like a deal or something for like a hotel and tickets to the park that was like, you get an extra, you get a total of 4 tickets. And then they were just like, all right, well, so I invited my friend Chance, and instead of flying down there, we drove. My parents had this green Ford Explorer, and we took over the back seat. And this was of the time where you had those really small but big, like portable TVs that you could do. So we put it had to have been like a 9-inch like flat screen TV that was maybe a football's length, like thick, on the armrest of of the 2 front seats, and we attached my Nintendo Game Cube. We had something that could like attach into the car's battery so that we could power the TV and the game, all that stuff. And it was equal parts amazing, but also we both were like, yeah, we're never spending that much time together ever again.
I understand that.
Right. Yeah. So we had a good time.
That was
it's been a long time.
You crammed years of friendship into a single
right
week.
Yes,
you burned
exactly.
the candle at both ends there. So you haven't. It's different when you can go, when you can drink. There's a trend, a legacy of folks. The Epcot's got 11 different national pavilions. It is the World Showcase, and people will go and drink around the world because you can get a beer or a wine or a cocktail or something in all of them. We didn't do that. It was way too hot the day we were in Epcot for me to even think of adding alcohol to the mix. I just wanted ice cream. But the night we got there, we walked around the Disney boardwalk and we went into a bar called Abracadabar.
Nice. Good name.
Which, perfect that I got to do that the day I started reading these Zatanna comics we're going to cover next week on the review show. Really good timing.
Oh, yeah.
Got to try and explain Zatanna to my mom.
So her name is Zatanna Zatara. Her father is also a Z name.
She does her spells by shouting backwards. She doesn't wear pants.
She has fish nets on. It seems like a Vegas magic act, right?
My brother used to work in a comic book store, and I know my mom would go in and visit him. And I'm like, you have seen Zatanna. Sure. You don't know you have, but you have.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I have not started the Zatanna comics yet. I'm waiting for the first of the month so that I can reactivate my DC Universe subscription and read it that way. So, because I've caught up on everything on the Marvel app. And so now my next thing is go through the DC app and catch up with everything.
Well, don't forget that this Zatanna book is like 400 pages. It's like a mega one. You got to really put the time in.
Oh, yeah. Sounds good to me. Sounds good.
What did you get up to this week while I was in Florida?
So I went to go see Avatar: The Last Airbender in concert.
Fun.
Yeah, I took Rachel out on a date. We went to a nicer restaurant. They had some great cocktails. Their rigatone, which is what Rachel got, was fantastic. I got their Nashville hot chicken, which yes, sounds like it's like you went to like Popeyes. What did you do?
No, I was not expecting when you said rigatoni. I was not expecting the next item that you ordered to be Nashville hot chicken.
Right? They have all sorts of stuff.
No place has both of those.
They have burgers. They have pizzas. They have an in-house bakery where they make all of their own stuff. They have a big stage for big musical performances to come and play. I don't know her music because but apparently like a month or so ago, Chaperone came and played. I've only seen her name on social media like within the past month. She's from Missouri. Okay. Interesting. So
add that person to the list.
Midwestern star. Yeah. But they even have like an outdoor section with a smaller stage out there. It was certainly a more expensive restaurant. Their I think the most expensive entree was like $50-$60 ish. Yeah. Which isn't too bad. Like it's not the most expensive. Because when I was shopping around, I found a place where you could get like a bone-in tomahawk steak, and it was like $98. And I was like, Jesus Christ, that's a lot. I'm sure
it doesn't even have to go that far. You live in a cattle state. The cattle, it just had to go from there to there.
Back. Right?
I can see the cow from here.
Yeah.
What does this cost?
You know how they bring out the lobster to you sometimes? Is like, is this the lobster that you
walk
want?
out on the deck,
right?
Point at a cow.
That's the one.
We get you that cow, but like we'll get you his brother.
But yeah, so they weren't like stupid expensive, but they were on the nicer end. Right. And we had a great time with that. And then a couple blocks away, we went to go see this concert. I have never been to anything like this, but I know in recent years, concerts like these have become a lot more popular. I know people who have gone to like Final Fantasy in concert or Kingdom Hearts in concert. Hear the music from such and such or so and so, some anime or something, you know? Yeah, we went there. It was an orchestra that was on stage. This is at the same stage that we went to go see Wicked at, and they had snacks and drinks you could get. We didn't really get any of their cocktails and stuff because we figured they'd be a little bit more on the expensive side compared to what we could probably get at the restaurant, and the restaurant would maybe be stronger cocktails too. But yeah, so then they had like a merch table, but it was all like generic merch. It was not like specific to like get a Avatar OKC shirt here or stuff like that. It was just like you can get Avatar pins and an Avatar book and an Avatar shirt and stuff like that. You know,
the same stuffed Appa you could get anywhere.
Yep. Indeed, but yeah, the orchestra on stage was a little bit smaller than I kind of expected, but they still did fill up the stage. It sounds like they were traveling around the country doing this show for a number of people. It was fantastic. They started
nice.
They played a mix of stuff, so they did not like follow, and so they very loosely followed the story, but in there they would also do like, and now we're gonna do stuff for like a certain character, and you're right, it might you'd see clips of that character played on screen from the entire show, not just like that specific point in this story. But then they would also do like story beats and stuff like that. All the clips that they showed were synced up to the music and was on beat and like all of that stuff, which was incredible. It was surprisingly emotional. I was not expecting, like I
That's an emotional show.
It really is. And there was a certain thing which I'll get to in a sec that I knew, like, once they get to that part, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry so hard. But even just hearing them start was just like, oh, this is so cool. I love this. This is awesome. And yeah, it was like tearing up from the get-go. They started off by saying, like, hey, this is not like your typical concert or your typical like stage production that you might see at a stage like this. We want you to enjoy this to your fullest extent. If you see a clip that you enjoy, you see a character you enjoy, you like the song, whatever it is, feel free to shout, to yell, to clap, to whistle at any time. Like, just enjoy it, right?
Greet your fellow hot men with a nice flameo.
Flameo, hot men. Exactly. Yeah, so they were really enthusiastic. It was fantastic. And yeah, when they got to the Little Soldier Boy song, when they did for Uncle Iroh, which was the tribute to Mako, everyone was crying. We were all like, you could hear the and it was just like, I'm glad I'm not the only one, because I am bawling right now. Yeah, it was so good. It was so funny too. They had some great laugh out loud moments.
Oh, good.
I really want to tell you what their like finale song was. So they like wrapped everything up, and then they had an encore, which was built into the show. So I don't know if you can really call it an encore. This was like their secret ending. And they were like, yeah, we have one more song for you guys. And they were like, please keep this a secret.
Aw.
Don't tell anyone what this secret song is. And they started playing it, and everyone just burst out laughing once they figured out what it was. But the best part is, it was a sing-along.
Oh, fun!
And they like during the clips that they're showing, it had the words on screen, and it would color in for the like karaoke stuff. It was great. And so yeah, the whole place was singing the song. It was fantastic. We had an absolute blast. Yeah, if you see something like this in your area, go check it out. The very next night, they were doing Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So they have all sorts of stuff that you can go see. So
I love the concept. Haven't made it to one yet.
Highly recommend it. Yeah.
I also had a communal crying moment over the past week. Not even at Disney World.
Oh,
Alamo Drafthouse was showing the Muppet movie.
Aww.
And hearing everybody sniffle after Gonzo sings, I'm going to go back there someday, while staring at the stars. That felt special. That's
good.
I mean, we talked about it. You know what a Muppets nerd I am. I love that movie, but I'd never seen it in a theater before. And it looks so good. You forget like how beautiful that cinematography is. Like, it's shot very well. It's not just the puppets that are technically outstanding. Like, the rest of the movie is also like well designed.
Yeah.
Looks very good. They choose interesting angles. The backgrounds are gorgeous. It fills up a big screen. It was really worth it.
That's awesome. The last two things I'll say on my experience at the concert. First of all, there was a number of younger children there, but by far it was like people my age, like our age. Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah, it was interesting. The two people in front of us was definitely an older couple. So I was like, I wonder if they're like season ticket holders or something, and they just don't know exactly what this, like, I don't feel like this was their show, right? But then the couple behind us, So they do the first two books. They do the Book of Water, then they do the Book of Earth, then they do an intermission. And during the intermission, we could hear the couple behind us, and they must have been on a first date.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Wow, because the tickets were on the pricier side. They weren't super cheap. But she was asking him, so what is this show? Can you explain the show to me here? And like at that, I was just like, what? Not only does this see like, because like I don't know what the scenario is with that. I was just kind of confused. It seemed like a first date by how they were talking, but they did seem to know each other a little bit, like they maybe were friends growing up or something like that.
Right.
Or I don't know. But yeah, she obviously had not seen the show, and he was trying to explain like, all right, well, that's Azula, that's like he's like, she's the bitchy sister of this one guy over here, right? Like and he was explaining like, I've watched this show so many times, and then I was watching it and my little like niece was interested, so I was like, okay, here we go, we're starting the show over from square one, all of this stuff. He was so excited. So I don't know if this was even like a did she buy him the tickets knowing that he liked it or something, but it was just an interesting scenario to like find yourself in, which is like, I don't know what any of like, this music is or these characters are. Why is everyone crying at the rest in peace Mako thing here, right?
Kid has arrow on head. Why?
Yeah. So his girlfriend turned into the moon? What's happening here?
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Good stuff. Yeah, and we saw some people in costume and stuff like that. That was fantastic. I love that. So we had a blast. Good. Indeed. But with that, I say we take a quick break for housekeeping. Then we got some movies to talk about and stuff like that. Some pop culture, lightning round stuff. Some trailers to talk about as well. So yeah, we will be right back. Thank you so much for checking out this podcast. We hope you're enjoying it. If you didn't know, we make multiple different shows here at the Whatnauts, and a lot of hard work goes into making them, so we would love it if you check them all out. But none of this is possible without your support. Head over to patreon.com/thewhatnauts and you can get access to over 40 hours of exclusive content, including our Patreon first podcast, The Pilots Club, when you sign up at our $3 tier. Of course, there is a free version of the Pilots Club available, but episodes are exclusive to our Patreon for 2 years before they hit the free feeds. If you're interested in buying merch, we have shirts, hoodies, mugs, and more for sale over at thewhatnauts.com/store. Another great way to help us out is by subscribing and leaving a nice rating and review on your podcasting app of choice. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel for video versions of the show, trailer reactions, and live streams. And lastly, you can always find out more information about the shows we make on our website, thewhatnauts.com. All right, we are back. Once again, a big shout out to all of our Patreon supporters. We love you a lot. It means a ton.
Thank you.
Thank you indeed. This month on the Pilots Club, we got to talk about the 20th anniversary of Lost, which was a fantastic time. But for the month of October, we're going spooky. We had originally planned to do an anthology show based off of Junji Ito's work, but we pivoted slightly because the first episode of Uzumaki is now out on HBO Max. You guys can go check out that. So be on the lookout for that real soon here. Should be a good time. Over on the free version of the Pilots Club, last month we got to talk about The Shield, which is a really great crime show. But for October, we will be releasing our episode on Mockingbird Lane. So more spooky stuff for you guys to check out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. So yeah, beyond that, whoops, let me pull all my stuff back up here. Over right here on the Captain's Log, last episode, celebrity number 6 has been found. Melissa, you told me all about this mystery that I had no idea was even a thing. It's kind of a fascinating one there. So thank you for mentioning that.
I'm gonna have to bring you more media mysteries like that.
Yeah.
It's an area I find
always
fascinating.
Fun. Yeah, I don't dig into them as much as you do, but whenever you mention it, it's just like, oh, that's really cool. I like that. That's fun. So yeah, we got to talk about all that good stuff. Apparently my travel tips that I gave Melissa worked out just fine because she's back safe and sound here. So
I listened to the tips. I brought a sweater.
There you go.
Just like you said.
Yeah. I bet it helped. It's all me. Thank you.
Yeah. Plane is cold.
Indeed. Over on the review show, we put up our second episode of Shame-Tember to round out our Shame-Tember picks. We watched Zodiac last episode, which we paired with Looney Tunes Back in Action the episode before that. So
similar films.
Indeed. Yeah.
Take place on human Earth, made by humans, star men who go on to earn Oscars.
Sure, yeah. Connections.
That comment, right.
Yeah, so we got to cross those off our list of shame. We had a great time talking about Zodiac. Go check that one out. And then be on the lookout down the road for some more Reactor Core as Agatha All Along is out. I just watched episode 3 earlier today. That was a good one. In fact, I had to pause the new Rockstars Easter egg video to come here and record. So I'll go back and finish that up. There's some interesting things in their new Rockstars reactions that I'm surprised they did not talk about, that I was like, I saw something maybe you guys did not. Interesting. So always a fun time watching all of that. But yeah, I think that is about it for housekeeping stuff. So let's get on to talking about movies. Where do you want to start? We do the ones that we each saw.
Individually before the one that both of us saw.
It doesn't matter to me.
Tell me about Transformers 1, because I really would like to see this one. I slowed my film consumption rate down slightly just to avoid like too many germs before I went on vacation. I'm like, I'm not going to more movies than like specialty screenings that I already bought tickets for weeks in advance. I'm going to save new releases for upon my return. So I've not seen Transformers 1 yet. And I am very surprised that it does seem like something I would enjoy.
Yes, Melissa, highly recommend this one. It was awesome. It was so great. I'm not the biggest Transformers fan. I have not dug into the shows, the comics, the cartoons, all that stuff. I saw the first handful of the Michael Bay live action ones, but I fell off of those real fast. And yeah, I think from the small amounts that I know about Transformers, I have to say, I think this one is the best Transformers movie out there. It's so freaking good. It is hilarious. They have it's a pretty simple story. I'm sure you can kind of see it coming from a mile away, even if you have just a passing knowledge of Transformers lore. But man, the fight scenes are incredible. The choreography is stellar. And you can tell what's happening in the fight scenes. That was always one of the big complaints with the live
just a
action
metallic blur.
Yeah, just a metallic blender of stuff.
I might as well be looking at just a slowly rotating ball of crinkled up foil.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. This thing, everything was visible. The animation is great. The voice acting is awesome.
Right.
If you do have a deeper knowledge, I'm sure there's a ton of Easter eggs in there that you could be able to point out. But yeah, standout film. This was awesome. So good.
Good.
So you went to go see
up with it.
One that I was not as super interested in when I saw the trailer, just because it's more of a horror film. But the trailer looked neat, and Margaret Qualley's in it, and I always like her. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
What did you think of The Substance?
The word bug nuts is a word I think we throw around perhaps too casually, and maybe should have been saved high up on a shelf purely for use on The Substance.
I mean, I say it all the time, right? You know me and my catchphrase, bug nuts.
This movie, it exceeds bananas. I'm not going to say bananas. That doesn't capture it. Bug nuts is more, it's closer.
It's Crazy Town Banana Pants.
It absolutely is. And it is a body horror movie, but it turns into a comedy at the end. The tone of this movie surprised me.
Interesting. Okay, good.
The makeup effects in this movie are less horror. These are not scary. These will not haunt you. I think these are a lot more tenable than most people would imagine they would be. There's a lot of blood, but like less than you'd think. It's a lot more creative than that. It really goes for something. It's playing on a level that I did not anticipate. The Substance.
Yeah. So I haven't seen it yet, but the buzz around it online has been so good, so positive, that I'm much more interested now.
Yes, I am trying to not allude to too much in this movie, because I think the surprise of it is genuinely so valuable. But also trying to let people know it is not as gnarly as you think it's going to be. Not that it isn't extreme, but it's extreme in other ways.
Yeah, because that's interesting to me, because the stuff I've heard online, I did hear one person talking about wait, there's people, like, it's causing people to throw up in the theaters and stuff like that. So I don't know how true that is, but I think maybe the best review, like, that's also not a review that I've seen of it, is a post of someone saying, slapping the Substance tickets, you can fit like 10 Cronenbergs in these things. So it's
very Cronenbergian. It's very Kubrickian. That surprised me. A lot of The Shining in this.
Cool. Good.
I would not have expected. A lot of The Shining, a lot of 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah, that's it. Yes. My interest has been a lot more piqued since I've seen online stuff, but
please do. Yeah. I saw it in like a very full theater. Just hearing everybody react to this stuff, like, we're all on this ride together. It's a true roller coaster of a film. I watch a YouTube channel called The Oscar Expert that will do the occasional movie review. And he reviewed this movie by saying, it feels like a movie from the future.
Great. I love that.
I think this will really work on your art boy sensibilities. This movie's got a production design like no other.
Yeah. So our plan was to go see that sometime this week. We might not get to it this week. My partner and I have tickets to go see The Wild Robot tomorrow. On Monday. We were gonna go see The Substance then on Wednesday. However, Melissa, I have a once in a lifetime opportunity to really prove to everyone in my local area that I am the local Gundam expert, because they are showing the first Gundam movie in theaters. And I am going on Wednesday night to go see
the first. Go.
Yeah,
you must.
I was like, and here's the thing is like, normally for some of this stuff, Rachel would go with me. She was like, I know you want me to start from square one with this. I will drive you to the theater. I will drop you off. You can enjoy it all on your own. You can wait and give me the like, let's start from the actual show. So I watched the good thing. And I was like, but I hate that you don't get to go with me, but also thank you. Like this is awesome.
Thank you for your support.
Yeah. Thank you for your service. So yeah, I am going to go see the first Gundam movie.
You'll be among
Wednesday.
Your kind. You're gonna walk into the. This is the equivalent of that meeting of Kyle's that was in like Kyle, Texas. This is metaphorically a meeting of Kyle's.
When I bought my tickets, you know how you can like reserve your seat and you can see like what seats are taken.
They're all solo seats.
No. I was the second person to have bought a seat. Only one other person had bought a seat, and it was all the way in the corner, in the back corner, which, like you said, might be like a reviewer or something, like reserved for something.
Right. Or like until somebody buys a ticket, the theater places like a false hold on like the most distant seat just to like keep the theater open in their system so it doesn't expire. So I think that happens for technical reasons. So
if I end up
literally you
being the only person in this theater, I'm going to be so happy. It's going to be amazing.
The experience is going to be only Kyle or all Kyles.
Right?
One or the other.
If I am by myself, I truly am the local Gundam expert. The local Gundam expert.
They don't sell a Gundam popcorn bucket, so you're going to make your own and bring it with you.
Right, yeah. No, I'm kind of assuming more people to figure out that it's out there and go buy tickets, but still I think it'll be a good time because I bought myself like in the exact center of the movie theater. Like, give me the best seat in the house. So I'm stoked. But Alyssa, earlier today you went to go see a movie. I went to go see the same one yesterday. Let's talk about Megalopolis.
Oh my God! It's you! You're the architect!
I have a T-square with me here.
I can't wait for this to be the Halloween costume of the year.
Just some kid with a T-square. It's like, that's not a costume, right, kid? Stop time.
No, it's me. I'm Caesar. I got the haircut and everything.
Megalopolis.
Megalopolis.
This has been such an interesting one to hear about for so long. Francis Ford Coppola's newest movie. I know it's been on these like film. God, why did my mind just go blank? The circuit, the festivals, the film festivals for quite a while.
Yeah.
So reviews have been out there for some time. The people have had some interesting thoughts on it. It seemed like from early reviews and even online buzz, people think this movie is awful, that it is a mess. And that got me even more excited to go
I think I heard
watch this.
I heard a lot of people say it was a mess, but they're like, I feel, I don't know if I could pin awful on it, but messy. Very, very messy, very strange, very unwieldy.
I have seen plenty of people be like, this is the worst movie ever. Who would let this movie be made? All of this stuff, which is a little more on the extreme side, obviously. But yes, the consensus seems to be this is a bizarre, messy movie. And I don't think that's necessarily wrong, but I think a lot of people, I think because of the director that's attached and him having done The Godfather, right? I think people expected not something akin to that, but a more consumable style, right? Not this more
something
art
that
house
feels
film that it is.
Oh, this is not even. It's not even art house. It's like his house. Francis's house is the house that it is, but nobody else's.
It's a pretty art house thing from him doing drugs in that one scene where he's like wiggling around all that stuff, the weird layering of effects that aren't really effects. It just feels like a presentation at times. It's such a bizarre movie, but like it really seems like some of the online buzz expected something and then did not get that,
right?
And they aren't the crowd that goes to see the more art house, more artsy fartsy films. And so that's why they're like, worst movie ever, it's terrible, it's you can't understand what the plot is. And I walked out of that like, I understood what the plot is just fine. It's kind of simple.
Lots of things happened that ultimately didn't super matter, but no, there's a thread there.
Yes. So yes.
I can report the happenings,
messiness,
and the meanings. Yes.
But what did you think of this one?
I was never bored.
Sure. Yeah.
I couldn't look away from
captivating, fascinating.
Absolutely captivating. The movie is so unpredictable and has such strange, quick edits that the thing flew by for me. It really does not feel as long as it is.
It's like 2 hours and 20-ish.
Right. It was just even that long, but like it's so odd. And it's one of the least natural movies I've ever seen. Watching this kind of reminded me of when we both went to see Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And I thought, this feels like the fake movie from inside another movie. This feels like something Tobias is auditioning to be in an episode of Arrested Development. Megalopolis also kind of feels like that. It feels utterly fabricated, but there's also a joy in the fabrication, in the work that went into it, in the just pure, unadulterated vision of this is what I want. I want one of my main characters to be named Wow Platinum. I'm paying for this movie myself with my wine. I'm using my wine money. Nobody can tell me not to do anything. So I'm going to do all this stuff.
Yeah. This movie to me felt like, have you seen, I know you've seen the meme of the Utopia, and it's always like, we could have this if not for something, right?
Sure.
And it's this like CGI computer generated like utopian city, but the CGI is so old, right? It's from like 2001 that it's just this like real plastic looking utopia. It looks like someone showed him that meme and was like, I'm gonna make that into a movie.
This is something he's been trying to do for decades, I think. And I like the way the movie looks. If it looked more natural,
it was beautiful.
What's the point of it looking more natural? I want it to look exactly the way it looked. It's so uncanny, and there are some genuinely beautiful, like striking images in there.
Yeah, there's some great stuff.
There are, I love the triptych editing. There's moments where things are beautifully assembled.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some just absolutely fun to watch performances. To see what's his name drunk at the party just dancing around was fantastic. Aubrey Plaza is spectacular.
A great year for Aubrey Plaza.
Oh yeah, she's had tons of stuff. Yeah, even Shia LaBeouf he's doing him in this. Right. It's just fascinating to watch, right? It's God, you just can't look away from
utilized,
any aspect.
No. I like that this movie. It's weird that it's a Holes reunion where you get Mr. Sir just shooting an arrow at Stanley Yelnats. That's fun.
Yeah. God, yeah, it's so bizarre. But like, I can understand some people who aren't necessarily used to this kind of movie being like, well, it's a little preachy or stuff like that. But I didn't really find it necessarily preachy per se. But it is almost this idea of like, man, we could. Like why like even if utopia is unlikely, right, or impossible even, why do we do the things the same old ways we've done them for so long? If we build a new city, why don't we start with this other material or stuff like
right.
we don't have to keep doing these same old things. Like we gotta
revolutionize things. Build buildings out of wives, and the buildings are malleable, and they have moving sidewalks, and they look like seashells.
Right, yeah, and the
building can also make transparent clothes.
Stupid or childish or just absolutely outlandish, right? I think it's asking an interesting question there of like, why are we doing things the exact same way every time? So I don't know. Yeah, it was an interesting one for sure.
It was. Somebody in our audience committed to like a hard clap at the end of this film.
Great.
I joined for a little bit. I had a fine time. There's a lot of really bizarre things that happen. I laughed a lot.
Oh yeah, same. It's like, why don't you go back to the club and
I like during that like big party in the Coliseum, like there's some acrobat which has all these like quick frantic cuts. There's going to be an acrobatic show, and you see like an acrobat like climbing up the ladder to like get to the top rope, and then it cuts away to like John Voight or whoever who points at it and says, "Look at that." And then there's a pause, and then it cuts to a completely separate thing.
Right? Yeah.
Like. And that happens again. Somebody else just points at something and says, "Look at that." Yeah. Which should be the tagline that's on the poster. Megalopolis. Look at this. Yeah. Check it out.
Did you hear about any of the showings that had the live actor in them?
Yes.
Or the AI to like change like a certain line or two in the movie? You heard about this, right?
I have heard about them. Regretfully, we did not get one of those, although I would have volunteered.
Right, yeah. So it was interesting to me because what I was seeing online was that yes, they were hiring local actors to be in every showing of Megalopolis, which I was like, okay, that's probably not true that they're going to be in every showing. And that there was like an almost call and response aspect to this thing where a character in the audience would stand up and ask Adam Driver's character something. And then he would respond, or then I also heard like, but depending on what the actor asks or says, there's like an AI, like certain theaters are mic'd up and set to an AI that would change a scene in the film depending on what the actor asked. I don't know how true this is. Just like in the bizarre laid up to this is one of the things that I heard maybe they were that they did or were considering or something like that. But yeah, I heard about these actors in there, and even without the AI, I was hearing, well, for the screenings that don't have them, there's just a weird silence. Like you don't have the visual cue, you don't have the auditory cue. It's nothing, and so it just makes for this weird experience, which I didn't have any of that in mine. I didn't expect
his picture just got very small.
Yeah, his picture got small. I could hear someone to one side of the theater, but that was like in the speakers, right? That was not some like guy who worked there. Yeah, so like I don't know. I don't know how true that is.
I wish I could have seen it in person. I hope I do get to see something like that someday. I'd love it implemented for other films. I'd love the chance to get up and ask Megatron a couple questions.
Yes. Yes, Melissa Wilkinson from the Whatnauts.com. Mr. Megatron.
Megatron?
Yeah.
Mr. Tron?
Any relation to the other Tron? Yeah, I don't know. Like this in the way that you described the substance as a movie from the future.
Sure, yeah.
This also felt like it was trying to be something like that. Arguably not as successful, maybe. I don't know. I certainly didn't think this film was good, but it's captivating regardless,
yes.
Right?
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was a weird one.
Weird for sure.
Bizarre one. Well, there you go. That's kind of all the recent movies that we have seen and all that good stuff. Thank you for putting on the notes here. A reminder for the Movie Fantasy League that the drafts are due on the 2nd.
It's the 3rd, but I forget what time on the 3rd, so I just put the 2nd for you.
I gotcha. Perfect. Thank you. Let's get into our pop culture lightning round here because we got a few trailers.
It's an interesting trailers this week.
Indeed,
you want to start with Thunderbolts asterisk?
Yeah, let's do it. Thunderbolts, the new Marvel trailer, came out. That was a damn good trailer.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, gave me the right, like, here's these characters that are back, all of that stuff. Here's something weird that's going on. It did feel more like a tone piece, right? It's not the story trailer per se, but I personally don't need a story trailer after this stuff.
I feel like if there's an asterisk at the end of the title, there's not much they probably can show us, but they showed us plenty. Nice to see Pullman in there. It's funny that his character's name is Bob when that's the name of the character he plays in Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, I saw
interesting
someone
deja vu there.
Putting up the Bob cinematic universe. It would be great if the next movie he's in, he's just some schmuck named Bob as well.
Robert.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, I am stoked for whatever this film is, whatever that asterisk is.
Right.
Are they changing the name to Dark Avengers? Is it going to be something else? I don't know.
I've never seen a movie do this before either. This is also ingenuity in the film universe. What does asterisk mean? Nobody else does that.
So I remember when Marvel announced their first big slate of all of those films, and one of the classic bait and switches that they did was the Captain America Serpent Society movie, and then they changed it to Civil War and so on and so forth.
And now we actually get the Serpent Society in Brave New World. So
yeah.
comes full circle, nothing wasted.
But it's interesting to. I was just gonna say it's interesting to me that they have this asterisk. It feels like they're purposely waiting for that bait and switch for like the opening credits of the movie or like the day before something. Who knows? Yeah.
When they will tell us. I would just like to know when I will know what the asterisk means. Confirmation. Like, is this going to be in a Super Bowl trailer? Is this going to be in the post credits of Brave New World? Is it going to be within the film itself?
So damn good. Yeah.
She's had a variety of wonderful hairstyles, and this is one of them.
She looks fantastic.
They all look good.
Yeah.
Speaking of Brave New World, I was trying to explain this movie to my mom.
Okay.
And she had apparently never heard the full name General Thunderbolt Ross before. She got a real kick out of it. Like, it's just become commonplace in my life to go back to the first time you ever hear the name General Thunderbolt Ross.
Yeah. Interesting. It's so funny to me because like there's all sorts of different ways you can take that. Like, your mom is not wrong to think that to immediately laugh at it and just for like a sense of ridiculousness, right? Like, that's his name, General Thunderbolt Ross. It's like, well, it's a nickname, right? And like, you could even look at it at that angle. Like, his real name is Thaddeus, but right, like to go by your nickname is not. People do that in real life. Like, that's not.
I think maybe she'd like
ridiculous.
She's like seen these movies and I guess never caught on that was William Hurt's name the whole time.
Thunderbolt Ross.
His name was Thunderbolt.
Wait till she finds out about Blackagar Boltagon.
she's seen that one. She's seen it, and I don't think she liked or understood it.
Oh man! So yeah, that was a great one.
We saw in the Disney gift shops, we saw this merchandise for Scarlet Witch, and of course, the only time she's ever really named Scarlet Witch is in WandaVision. My mom sees like most of the movies at some point, but I don't think her and my dad have ventured into the Disney Plus TV series, so she doesn't know that's her name.
I gotcha.
She's like, oh, bad Wanda. I remember mean Wanda. I saw her in the Doctor Strange.
Bad Wanda. Yeah, let's move on to Ballerina.
This was a fun trailer.
John Wick one. Yeah,
this
you
looks promising.
Watched this just before we started recording here. What did you think?
Nice use of Elton John's Tiny Dancer. I think it's very funny that they feature the line, "You must have seen her" in the song, when this is a character nobody has ever seen before, who has never been alluded to. She kind of is just appearing out of nowhere.
Yeah. I mean, I really, really liked this trailer a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I did think the trailer kind of maybe revealed a little too much. But I don't know. Like, it's also like, this is what I expected from this movie. This is kind of what they sold it as, right? So like, I also get the feeling that this movie will be a lot more than what the trailer lets on. But yeah, on a De Armas looking badass for an entire movie. Hell yes, please.
Nice to see Ian McShane. Nice to think they caught some Lance Reddick while they could.
Yeah, good stuff with that. I cannot wait for that one. You put this next one on here. I did not have this one on here. I saw when it dropped, but I did not watch it immediately. Sinners. Melissa, you seem excited for this one. You got a big smile.
This is a movie that has been on our minds for a while. This is Ryan Coogler's new movie. It is his first original screenplay in a while after spending time with the Creed and Black Panther franchises. He continues to work with Michael B. Jordan. And I knew this movie because It was a vampire movie. And I'd heard this brought up in the discussions of why is Marvel taking so long with Blade? And one of the theories was maybe their project and what Ryan Coogler was doing were too similar, and Disney had to swerve and rethink and come up with something different. And like maybe
didn't
this
want
movie
it kind of contaminating their
yeah, like this movie, not to put any blame on it, just funny how it worked out. This might be one of the reasons why Blade is taking so long, just to make sure it isn't too much like this thing.
Yeah.
And this is a historical drama, takes place, at the beginning in like the 1920s, 30s, I think.
Sure.
Michael B. Jordan, apparently he plays twins, and there's vampires afoot in the South in the Great Depression.
Great. Yeah, the trailer looked awesome. That was a spectacular trailer because I got like just enough for it to be like,
yes, just enough.
Like there's gonna be some great action and might have some real scary moments, but there's also like this drama at the center of it. That seems real good.
I look forward to it. I remember when we saw Wakanda Forever, that part at the beginning of the movie where there's the research ship and the it's not Atlantis in the movie. Is it Talokan? What's its name? It has not come up again at all since Wakanda Forever.
Tenochtitlan? Is that it? I don't remember. Something.
The underwater folks, Namor's pals. When they take over that research vessel and they sneak on and like take out the crew. I remember thinking that was like a good little horror scene.
It was,
It was not at large a horror movie, but like that was effectively tense and unnerving. I'd like to see more of that from this director. And here we go. Here we get it.
Cool. Good.
Everyone should do a little horror at least once in their directorial careers.
Indeed. 2 more trailers, but this time on the TV side of things. We got a new trailer for season 2 of The Last of Us. I am very excited about that one. It looks great. It looks so good. I'm so excited. And then we got a trailer for season 2 of Arcane. Netflix had their whole Netflix Geeked Week this week. So they had a whole bunch of announcements and trailers. We're not gonna go through them all here, but I definitely saw Arcane season 2, and that trailer looked fantastic. They are debuting it in 3 parts. November 9th, November 16th, and November 23rd. And that will be the final season of Arcane. So good stuff with that. And then a couple other casting rumors, or not, I guess not rumors, because it's
rumors or news. You didn't link either of these. They're just statements. So I don't know how literal or metaphorical the statements are.
These 2 are fact. But we'll get to some more Lantern stuff here in a sec. Daveed Diggs joins The Boys season 5.
Fun.
Which is an incredible show. Daveed Diggs is also great. I like him in a lot of stuff that he's been in. It'll be interesting to see him in this show too. So looking forward to that. And then Kyle Chandler has been cast as Hal Jordan in the HBO show Lanterns.
This is interesting.
Yeah. I'm not super familiar with Kyle Chandler's work. I know I've seen him.
He's Friday Night Lights.
Stuff. Yeah, I never watched that one, but that seemed to be one that people kept bringing up of like, oh, I liked him in that. But it seems like good casting to me.
Right, and I don't know him that well, but he's like a little bit of an older actor, and I've never seen the man do action. So this does tell me something about what Lanterns is leaning into.
From what I hear and from what I understand is it's going to be how Jordan,
a true detective,
kind of mentoring a younger Jon Stewart. Um, and we also know that there's other lanterns out there. There will be a lantern that appears in the Superman Legacy movie. Nathan Fillion is playing
Guy Gardner.
Guy Gardner, yes, thank you. Still no word on God, what's his name? Kyle something.
Kilowog.
Well, no Kilowog yet. All that stuff.
I want a Kilowog. I want a fully
I do
dramatic
too. I love
Kilowog.
Let me know who's playing like Tomar Ray or North or whatever his name is. Right.
Kyle Rayner.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Kyle Rayner. Yeah, still no word on that stuff, but there has been some rumors that Jon Stewart will either be played by Aaron Pierre or, and I forget his name, but the guy that was in the Homecoming show that played the soldier that was going through. Remember when we watched it for the Pilots Club?
We just watched
Homecoming?
it. I can't think of that man's name. I liked him. Yeah.
Let me look it up. But then earlier today, I did just see that Aaron Pierre got cast in some show as a like major recurring role. So I don't know if that has any bearing on this other show. Who knows? But Aaron Pierre, I guess, was recently in a movie called Rebel Ridge on Netflix that people are really enjoying.
People like it, yeah.
Yeah. I have yet to watch that one, but they were like, he would be awesome as a Jon Stewart. Homecoming show. Let me look up this other actor's name because he would also be incredible in this role too. Stephen James. His name maybe Stephen James. I'm not sure how he pronounces it. But he would also be fantastic in the role as Jon Stewart.
Is this a dynamic we've seen before in any of the comics or animated series? That Jon Stewart is a younger man and Hal Jordan is an older man, bringing him on board to Lanterns. Because I've only ever seen those guys both as like they're both adult like men. A solid third. Yeah, they're both 40.
Yeah, I would always say that Hal is a little older.
Okay.
But that's mostly just because, well, he came first, right? Like he was a Green Lantern before. He also has the like graying like sides often, whereas
the Reed Richards is
right, yeah. Whereas I guess Jon Stewart, it's harder to tell, right? He's not graying on the sides, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's older, right?
He looks younger
or not.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. So I do kind of like that mentor-mentee relationship. I think that's neat, and especially since they are very different in the way that they think, the way that they make their constructs and stuff like that.
I look forward to learning. I've seen Jon Stewart around, but I've never like really sat down and watched or read anything that featured him.
Yeah.
So I don't know much about him as a character. I look forward to learning.
Yeah, it was interesting because I grew up, of course, on the Justice League animated cartoon in which Jon Stewart is the main Green Lantern. And I remember when the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie came out, and other people that I knew who also watched the cartoon but didn't necessarily read the comics were like, wait, why'd they make him white? He's supposed to be black. And all they knew was Jon Stewart. They did not know that he was like the legacy character. So I hope they do Jon Stewart some justice here, because he's the one that I grew up with and that I like a lot. So
nice,
good stuff indeed. Let's see. Did I have anything else here, or was that it? I think that's kind of
it. That's it.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff indeed. Well, yeah. Let's wrap things up right there. Melissa, where can the people find you on the interwebs?
Send me an email the old-fashioned way, before people had ever even called it the interwebs. You may email me at yourhostmelissa@gmail.com.
One day we'll have to look up the etymology of the word interwebs and see if we can nail it down. When was the first time that someone said the interwebs?
And are they proud? Do they do their coworkers know it was them? Is that their fun fact they use at icebreakers?
Does their small town, like the welcome to whatever town they live in, say home of the interwebs, right? Who knows? Who knows? But you guys can find me at Yo Kyle Springer, and if you would like to stay up to date with all of the stuff that we do here at the Whatnauts, we are at the Whatnauts Official on Threads. So please go like, share, and subscribe. That would help us out a ton. If you are watching this on YouTube, got plenty more videos right there on that side of the screen for you to check out. So that would help us out a ton as well. And this has been the Palindromatic, episode 282 of the Whatnauts Captain's Log. We will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.